Орудие!
All-out attack. Russian tank convoy exploded and ripped off tank heads while fleeing Kherson. Vladimir Putin was dealt a hammer blow as Russian civilians were ordered to evacuate from Kherson, one of the 4 Ukrainian annexed regions. Despite what seems like a devastating strike on his tank, a Russian soldier manages to escape the attack. Footage shows the Ukrainian army targeting the heavy vehicle, ripping apart the head of the tank. Behind the white smoke, a man is seen rushing out of the commander's hatch. Serhiy Dmytrovich Prichula, a Ukrainian TV presenter who has been fundraising money for the Ukrainian armed forces, tweeted the video. He said, "The 95th DSHV Brigade skillfully dismembers a Russian from a picture. Titans. And you and I help their intelligence on a large scale with quadcopters and UAVs. To detect those tanks in time and destroy them completely." Russia has been suffering defeat after defeat since Ukrainian forces launched a major counteroffensive to retake the Russian-controlled territories, including the annexed regions. Vladimir Putin illegally annexed 4 Ukrainian regions in a bid to deter NATO allies from providing military assistance to Ukraine. But the Russian leader's attempt appears to have failed, as NATO members have stepped up military support for the Ukrainian forces. U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a $625 million military aid package, which includes additional advanced rocket systems credited with helping the country's military gain momentum in its war with Russia. And French leader Emmanuel Macron has pledged an additional €100 million package to help Ukraine purchase weapons. In a statement, British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said the UK will donate AMRAAM rockets, hundreds of cutting-edge air defence missiles, hundreds of additional aerial drones, and a further 18 howitzer artillery guns to boost Ukraine's air defences. The European Union adopted the 8th package of sanctions against Russia worth €7 billion to hit the Kremlin's war chest. Upping the ante, the EU foreign policy chief Josep Borrell warned Moscow that its forces would be annihilated by the West's military response if President Vladimir Putin uses nuclear weapons against Ukraine. At the opening of the Diplomacy Academy in Brussels, Mr. Borrell said, "Putin is saying he is not bluffing. Well, he cannot afford bluffing, and it has to be clear that the people supporting Ukraine and the European Union and the member states, and the United States and NATO are not bluffing either. Any nuclear attack against Ukraine will create an answer, not a nuclear answer, but such a powerful answer from the military side that the Russian army will be annihilated," he added. In a sign of escalation, NATO's Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said the military alliance will monitor Russia's upcoming nuclear exercise but not be cowed into dropping support for Ukraine by Putin's veiled nuclear threats. After a 2-day meeting of the alliance's defense ministers, Mr. Stoltenberg said, "We will not be intimidated. Russia's nuclear rhetoric is dangerous, reckless, and they know that if they use nuclear weapon against Ukraine, it will have severe consequences." An unnamed senior NATO official said a Russian nuclear strike would almost certainly trigger a physical response from Ukraine's allies and potentially from NATO itself. It would almost certainly be drawing a physical response from many allies and potentially from NATO itself, the official told media. Meanwhile, panicked Kremlin troops are reported to have turned themselves over to advancing Ukrainian forces as President Zelensky's counteroffensive operation continues to make impressive progress into occupied territory. As Russian-controlled regions of Ukraine come under threat, freshly mobilized troops have surrendered to Ukrainian soldiers, demonstrating the reported low levels of morale among Moscow's armed forces. The news comes after President Putin's partial mobilization decree outlined plans to enlist an additional 300,000 soldiers to continue the special military operation in Ukraine. In the video footage, Ukrainian soldiers, made identifiable through the insignia on their military uniform, are seen patting down a man who had his hands held above his head in a clear sign of surrender. Commentary in the clip identifies the man as a Russian soldier who was being searched by a member of the Ukrainian battalion. In the distance, 3 additional Russian troops can be seen approaching along a dirt track towards the Ukrainian forces. As the small group draws closer, no obvious weapons can be seen, and each individual has their hands raised high in surrender.
Що речами, що одяг? Ну,
Так ми захищаємо нашу землю.